I'll listen to when people talk about their projects, and I always zero in on something about them. And the thing that excited me so much about Eric talking about his project was the fact that he said, this guy is a superhero. ISOM is a superhero. He gets to a point where he's like, I don't want to do this anymore because it's not what I thought it would be. And he goes and he, buys a ranch or gets a ranch and starts working on it. And I thought, the only heroes I can really see outside of, obviously, the Farm and Superman, the only characters that I see who really do that are people like Doc Savage. And I started thinking about his character. I know this is going to sound odd, but this is just how my brain works. I started thinking about his character in terms of Doc Savage and my love of pulp. And I started thinking about what it's like, to work on a ranch. Obviously, I'm watching my share of Yellowstone again. Kevin Costner, folks. I love Costner. He's the man. And I started thinking about like what it is about, that culture and that American, way of life that I'm so excited about. And so the thing that I kind of came down to was I wanted to do some sketches of this character. And I want to do some sketches of this character, of the Rippaverse and things that I love about America, and make just sort of like a medley sketch painting. And so as I look at, and you can see me sort of roughing in the horse here, hand skills are essential to those various disciplines. And when we started to make everything all in the head, right? What you think about people is based on some fantasy in your head, not actual experience. You got people who don't know how to listen, and they can't be great artists. They can't be. This brings me back to the character of ISOM. When you talk about maybe he wants to go back to the simplicity of the ranch, I don't know. I have not worked on a ranch. I've only watched people talk about working on ranches, so forgive my ignorance on this. But I think it might be the practical complexity of it and the ability to really reconnect with your life for people like that. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, it's a day-to-day fight for the life of these animals and for this particular way of life. It's grueling work, but at the end of the day, you know why you're doing it. In a lot of ways, I think the superheroes are the sheriff of the culture. They come in, but also they have a responsibility to do things that encourage the culture positively. And when the superhero is at their best, American heroes intervene in a way that empowers the individual citizenry, and it empowers the people to find the hero within themselves. Because at the end of the day, the superhero cannot be the big nanny that's coming in to save everybody's problems, because there's going to be moments where people have to step up. And you would always see that in some of the great movies, comic movies, where you see the people were inspired to go and try to help Batman fight or try to help Superman fight, even if they couldn't compete on that level or help rescue people. The great heroes encourage the individual's sense of responsibility and their sense of agency in their lives. I think agency is really important. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You're damn right, Admiral. Yeah, no, technology has become nothing but consumer appliances. Yeah, neurological state isn't ready to be override like that. You're absolutely right. Technically, the expressed means of a window, which led to the infinite knowledge. Yet, technically, the expressed means of a window which leads to infinite knowledge. Yet, people in our limited means of thinking use it more for convenience and vanity. You're absolutely right. I remember saying to students, and you'll appreciate this, Timmy. I remember saying to students at one point, I said, "Oh gosh, what's the name of the artist who drew this?" And they said, "Oh, I can Google that." And I said, "No, put your phone away. I can Google it. I have a phone right here. I'm asking you to see if it's up in here." And the more stuff you have up in here, the more you can speak extemporaneously, the more you can have these conversations. And I think about this, man. I really think about this. And I don't know where to go with it. This is the thing I'm wondering about. When you see something like Doc Savage, or you see something like Conan, or you see something like The Shadow, for any cultural, creation to take on a life of its own, at a certain point, it needs and it requires the active participation of the culture. And I don't mean that. I do believe that the artists own their works and they write their works. I'm not talking about fan fiction. I'm not talking about that aspect of things. I'm not talking about trying to tell the story. And I think that's the real failing of, let me know what you think of this. I think it's possible that the problem with Neo fan culture leaving in droves because there's no status in it. So the people that people would refer to as fake fans, their attitude was, unless I'm represented or see myself in this thing, it's the, playing with Barbies analogy that Ethan uses so often, then I'm not interested in it. And the problem with that is if that your only interest in other people, even art, is what it has to say or speak directly to about what you want to hear, you're never really listening. You're never really present in that stuff. So that the art that was being made for these things at a certain point wasn't inspired by the art form or the creation by the people. It was inspired by the person who was making it. So they would give a cursory look at something like Harry Potter and they go, okay, here's my Harry Potter original character, which is contradiction in terms. And they look at Superman and go, here's my take on Superman. But they never looked at Superman. So it wasn't a take on Superman. It was a take on themselves. It was a veneer that they put over themselves. They never got to know it. But I think we have to show them and articulate. And when I say we, I mean me. I take responsibility for my own ideas. I don't need to tell you guys what to do. You guys are smart enough. That's the way we'll fall into a septic focus, is if everybody's trying to do what one person says. Plus, we're pro-individual. But anyway, so I'm spending time with a corner of the Rippaverse. And in an ideal world, I would be able to have a conversation with Eric July and not tell him, this is what I think the ranch this character is on should be. I wouldn't say that to him. I would say, tell me about the ranch. Like, what was your experience with it? If you watch my interviews with Eric Weathers or Michael Bancroft or any of the creators that I've talked to and done those long form interviews with, and Narwhal, of course, as well. I think I did one with him. You will get that sense of how I investigate a given subject. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I would love to ask him. I would love to ask Eric July about the ranch, about what he's doing. Like, is it just like Skywalker Ranch where, there's some animals on there and stuff, but he's not working while he's there? It's just a ranch. Like, I bought a ranch and I'm going to hang out. But he doesn't strike me as that kind of character, both Eric and the character he created, because Eric's been working since he was a kid. So I have to imagine that work is something that he can't imagine somebody not doing. So these are all of the things that I think about when I'm working. And if it I don't think it sounds like a lot, because I gotta be honest, you guys in the chat are always coming out with amazing stuff. So I know you're thinking hard on this fine Saturday morning, and I thank you for being here. But I just want you guys to know, like, when I'm working on Nosfero, when I'm working on anything I'm working on that's story driven, which is all I really want to work on at this point, I'm thinking, I really am trying to consider what the thing is to the best of my ability. It's maybe something I didn't understand as much when I was younger, but it's something I'm coming to right now. Hey, what's up, Gabe? Hail, Shanth and chat. On my way down to San Diego Comic-Con in a few. Are you gonna throw down? You gonna have some Comicsgate shirts on? I bet you will. Libertarians be willing. Gabe, can you see this? I'm working. I'm doing what I said I'd do. I'm doing a painting about America. I'm doing a painting about ISOM. And I'm doing a painting about Yaira. Gabe knows.
Nosfero, does this word not sound like the death bird culling the living dead at dawn? It is the name both ghouls and demons dare not say, for they know it means death for the undead.